Now it's time for the big guys. So we have two monster problems with our last two examples. On this first one, we notice, fractions. But we know how to work with fractions. We're just going to deal with it today. So first thing I want to do, I see I have this negative 1/3. I'm going to go ahead and multiply my negative 1/3 times 9. Negative 1/3, I'm going to actually rewrite this right underneath, times 9y. Remember, we have to make this a fraction, so I'm going to put that 1 underneath, and then we can go ahead and simplify this. We can divide both of these by 3, so I'll be left with a 1 and a 3. Therefore, 1/3 times 9y is going to be negative 3y. Okay, next thing I have to do is multiply that negative 1/3 times negative 12. So negative 1/3 times negative 12, I need to make that a fraction, so over 1. If we think about our fraction multiplication, I can divide both of those by 3. A negative times a negative we know is going to be a positive, so we're left with a positive 4 over 1, which we're just going to write as a positive 4. I'm going to go ahead and bring down this 2y that's been hanging out there, and again, we're just going to look to see what's like. I have a 2y and a negative 3y. And poor little Constant by himself. So 2y minus 3y is going to be a negative 1y. And that 4, we're just going to go ahead and bring that guy down. Since these two are not like terms, I'm going to go ahead and call this simplified and have my answer as negative 1y plus 4. So if we saw fractions here, the next thing we're going to see is decimals. Oh my goodness, look at this monster. So we know how to solve this. Just take our time. Again, notice that we have two sets of parentheses here, but we know what to do with those parentheses. We're going to go ahead and distribute. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply our 2.3 times 4x. 2.3 times 4 is 9.2x. Then we're going to go ahead and multiply our 2.3 times our negative 2y, and a positive times a negative will be a negative 4.6y. Okay. Next, we have our second set of parentheses. Notice what's outside is a negative 2.6. So I need to make sure I multiply everything by the negative 2.6. So negative 2.6 times a positive 3, we know a negative and a positive is a negative 7.8x. And lastly, we're going to multiply negative 2.6 times 4. And again, we have a negative times a positive, so we have a negative 10.4y, which you can't see. So I'll move this paper over. I'll try to. Okay, now that we've distributed and removed all of our parentheses, we're going to go ahead and combine our like terms. So 9.2x and negative 7.8x is like, as well as negative 4.6y and negative 10.4y. So the first thing I want to do is combine my x's. So 9.2 minus 7.8 will give me a positive 1.4x. And then negative 4.6 plus a negative 10.4 will give me a negative 15y. Again, we can see that our two terms are not like. Therefore, 1.4x minus 15 is going to be our answer. So I can't have all the fun, so I'm going to give you these 7 to try. Try these on your own, and let's see how you do. Pause the video now. All right, are you ready to check these answers? How did you do on these? If you made any kind of mistakes, make sure you go back and check that distributing property. One of the most common things is when we only distribute to one term and not the second. So make sure you're distributing to every single term inside that parentheses.